Sonia Booker.
This is the Sonia Booker Show, insight that builds wealth and confidence. Sonia Booker is president and CEO at Sonia Booker Enterprises, online at soniabooker.com. Helping you go from everyday living to wealth building, Sonia is an accomplished author and speaker, well known for her wealth building strategies and results. Here to inspire, inform, and empower. Your host, Sonia Booker.
Hey, it's Sonia Booker, and I am here with Conversations with Sonia, and today it's all about real estate, and I have the pleasure to have one of my dear friends with me, real estate guru himself, Ramon Tookes.
It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm so glad to see you.
It's been a minute. It's been too long.
I know we check in with each other and check on each other, but I haven't seen you in the flesh and probably, way too long.
Yeah.
So, what have you been up to since the pandemic?
Lifing.
Lifing.
Yeah.
Life been lifing.
Lifing.
I know how. So let's start there. Okay. So first of all, for those of you who don't know, I have this running joke with Ramon that he's my little big brother.
For sure.
Yeah, and we've known each other. It's probably
20 years. 20 years now.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. And so he's a little bigger than me, and a little younger than me. So he's my little big brother. And so, I think that knowing somebody for 20 years and being in the same industry, we've always just had this level of ride or die kind of, respect for each other. So it's always good.
It's been good energy though from day one. So I appreciate it.
I remember you. I think it's really fascinating because I was on the streets. I consider myself a pretty good wholesaler.
You
back
were,
in the day.
yes.
I could come up with some stuff. And then when I started being mentored by Herman Russell.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. Whole nother level.
I was like, but we always just kept in contact. But you honored me for something. You were just always keeping your eyes
you're the big
on
sister.
me.
I have to. Yeah.
So I've always just appreciated that, how you just, And so since the pandemic, you've always been more you're king of flipology.
Yes.
You're Mr. Flipology. Let's get that right. Mr. Flipology himself right here. And so how has your model or anything changed? How has anything changed since 2020 for you?
Well, I had to change.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
And so, there's been a lot of social, if you compare yourself to other people, you can get caught up in that.
Right.
And that I don't really do that a lot.
Yeah.
But in 2020, it was kind of normal because I didn't come out the house a lot anyway. Only thing that happened was those kids were at home too much.
Yeah.
The model for Flipology itself, the educational piece, didn't change a lot. We got better at marketing. We're getting better at marketing. We're putting more people in. That's always evolving. But the business itself for the development side has changed a lot. 2021, I hit a wall.
Boom. Okay.
Tired.
And I remember we were talking through some of those things.
Just tired.
What are you seeing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
And I remember you were just I'm just tired.
Yeah. And that was more, it wasn't the pandemic. The pandemic may have put the cherry on top.
Yeah.
But I had been working for 40 years since I was a kid without a break.
Yeah.
So I don't get to, I could, but I just never took a break, just kind of running. And so when the pandemic happened, I think that pushed me into making some real changes.
Yeah.
And some of those changes were taking my hands off of everything. I think that's the biggest one. So finding the right people to put in the right place. And it's taken me some time because that's a trust thing. That's I think I can do everything thing. And when it happened in 2021, I figured it out. God will make you
sit down.
Be still. And I was like, whoa, because if this happens for real, and we always ask, if something happens to you, does the company keep going?
What does it look like?
Yeah. And
it really made you think about it.
It did.
You never really was I'll put some stuff in place.
Never thought about it. Just felt like I'm invincible.
Yeah.
And I'm not.
And it was so out of our control too. I think that was the first time of feeling
was just way out of our control.
Right.
So, after that, so the past year, we've been working on inventory that we had,
Yeah.
things that were kind of caught in the middle, and then building a different model. Whereas I used to go after everything, like, okay, we're gonna make that a deal. That's not a deal.
Yeah.
I can figure it out. So now it's really getting into what we talked about 7-8 years ago, buying the right project, raising the right capital, but
Yeah.
having the right people to do it for you,
Yeah.
like having the people that's right there in place and then running my vision. So, between age and things happening, you just change.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes you change.
So that was like kind of one of my questions, like how have you changed the real estate market and how has the real estate market changed you?
So, I love it. Sleep it, eat it, breathe it. I don't care where I am in the world. I want to see real estate. As far as changing me, it inspires me.
Okay.
So every building, when we walk in here today, like
Yeah,
a window,
just lit
right?
up.
I light
Yeah,
up.
that's how yeah.
And it's architecture. If I'm in St. Louis, I'm like, man, I wish we would have bought these. If I'm in, I was in Boston one day, and I was like, these buildings, and so it always. I'm in Montgomery, and I'm looking over the river, and I'm like, wow. And I think about, like, I can some kind of way I envision what was happening. It's a building in Montgomery where there's a fountain in the middle of Dexter Avenue. And Dexter Avenue is where Dexter Avenue Baptist Church is, where Martin Luther King started. And the fountain is at the bottom of a hill, and if you stand at the fountain, you can see the Capitol. And so they were telling me the story about the importance of the fountain. Well, it's a fountain now, but it was the hole for the slaves, right? And they used to bring them off the river. It's beautiful. Like, most people don't think about Montgomery being the capital. It's on the river, but there's a building that's for sale that overlooks the fountain. And so for me, I was like, wow, man, we need to be buying that building. But emotionally, we should buy it.
Right.
But financially, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And prior to now, a lot of it was emotions because we want to own this, we want to own that, but it didn't make sense. So, those kind of things have changed now where it has to fit this certain model. If it doesn't fit that model, I need to wholesale it or walk away.
Right.
I need to broker it or walk away and not try to pull everything in. So my model has completely changed.
So it's all about a plan and people, the right plan and the right people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's like one of the early things that I did that I think was actually good. And I try to tell people all the time, like you got to have a model for what you're doing, and it can change, but you got to start somewhere, because I mean, it's like people just jump in. It's like you're trying to buy everything, you're trying to do everything. It's like, like, am I doing long-term investing? Am I flipping? Am I looking to build rental? It's like, what is my goal? And that's going to help. What's my profit margin? And I don't think that those questions are asked enough. So.
Not enough. I just started.
A good deal is a good deal. Like, good deals are everywhere. Everybody told me it's opportunity. I'm like, opportunity is a diamond. Let's, define opportunity.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. I just started back coaching last summer. I had taken a break. I took a break because I was really tired.
The burnout.
And that's one of the things that we focus on the first couple of weeks. Like, if you say that this is what you want to do, we're going to break it down. What resources do you need? What's your plan? If you want to buy and hold, let's buy and hold.
Let's buy and hold, yeah.
If you want to wholesale, let's wholesale.
Yeah.
But you understand those are 3 different models.
That's right.
And maybe while you're wholesaling, you've made enough money where you can keep buy and hold.
Yeah.
But you don't need to be targeting certain things while you're saying, this is what I want. I want 10 doors.
Yeah.
Let's get to 10 doors.
Right.
Once you get to 10 doors, maybe you can say every 10 doors, I get a fix and flip, or every 4 fix and flips, I buy a door. Like, you got to have that plan. And we're really focused on that now.
That's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, we are.
Well, why are you not using my book?
I need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need it.
Yeah, because that's the planning tool.
You got to see, once I get some more assigned copy.
I got you before you leave. But yeah, I mean, and that's the whole thing that I think that people miss. And it's like, now I feel like we're back to the basics. But I also feel like the market has changed in ways that we could not have even imagined.
Talking about how great it is.
I think it's great.
But it's competitive.
I think it's competitive. Okay.
It's great, but it's competitive.
All right, so let's talk about that. Okay, so everybody's always talking about, it's a good time to buy a house, good time to sell a house. That's a whole nother conversation. But the question here is it a good time to invest in real estate, in your opinion?
Yes.
Okay, so you feel like the market has enough good deals out there? Okay. If you had all the money in the world, what would you be investing in?
So that's when I go back to being a generalist. Right. So, I say, like I've been saying for the past 3 or 4 years, it's going to keep going up, especially in a city like Metro Atlanta, right?
Right.
Here's the challenge. We don't have enough inventory. So that means people are going to always need.
Right.
They're not going to stop. The people are not going to sell that refinanced or bought in the past
Right.
2 years with that crazy rate. They're
Right.
not going anywhere. So
Yeah.
take that off.
Yeah.
The hedge funds are not going anywhere. They're buying and more are coming in.
Yeah.
So the people that deserve a home and need to be buying a home, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
So the inventory is still going to be short. We're really short right now. We're short.
Yeah.
And what is it? 3,000 people a day are moving to Metro Atlanta.
Yeah.
So if you're short and 3,000 more people are moving in, you don't have enough rental units. You don't have enough. It's almost impossible to crash. They're just going to have some crazy interest rates.
Yeah.
If that's what you want to call it. So we used to say the single family wasn't an asset class.
It's
Now
become one.
they've made it one.
That's a top asset class.
It
now.
is.
Yeah.
Do you remember? It was like
SFR.
4 years ago. We went to that conference and I was in Miami. It was IMN, and they kept saying it is becoming an asset class.
Right.
Where those hedge funds were taking over then.
That's right.
And we're not going to see foreclosures because if they hit the steps, they're going to be down there bidding.
Right.
I don't know.
And the other thing is so much cash in the market. There's so much cash in the market, and I think that's the part that makes it so just unbelievable. You have 56% of all the homes sold over the last year were foreign buyers, and 44% were cash. That's insane because like you said, a person who just trying to buy a house. And so let's okay, we got to talk about that because I feel like you are the best people to create this inventory.
Let me say this.
Okay.
Let me say two things. People are sitting on the sidelines. They've been sitting on the sidelines for a couple of years saying they're going to wait till this crash happens. And I got videos. I'm telling people like the rates are going to keep going up and the prices are going to keep going up.
Yeah.
If you don't buy now, you're going to have a problem that you really don't understand it, right? And so those people that are saying, somebody just said 7.5% is a high interest rate. And I was like, that is normal, y'all. 2% was just 2-3% was just crazy.
Yeah.
When I came in, my hard money rates were between 18 and 24% and 10 points. I didn't know any better, and we still made money. So the problem is they don't know how to make money.
Right.
They want to look at social media where somebody's holding up this big check or circling something on a settlement statement that don't show minus commission, minus down payment, minus cost of money, minus overruns. They don't show any of that.
Right.
So they look at us like, man, because I'm conservative, so I'll show all of that. So they don't like to listen to me.
Right.
So those people that are sitting on the sidelines, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
They're going to be on the sidelines for a while.
So you think that, so you're hearing like you got a lot of people that feel like there's going to be some kind of crash. Like, do you feel like it's going to be a implosion or a bubble, or you don't feel like it's going to be none of that? Like, ain't none of that happening.
No, how long we been hearing that for the past 7 years? We've been hearing it's going to be a crash for the past 6 or 7 years.
I feel like real estate is cyclical. You know what I mean? So something has to happen. It may not be a crash.
Be a level off.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, even a level off, right, yeah.
But here's the issue with, and I won't say every city.
And I think that's the beauty, because I feel like right now the internet is overpopulated with people selling information. I mean, like they're not even doing it, or they did it before, and the same stuff doesn't work.
Why would you though? If you can sell 1 million copies of something for $10, why would you go do some real estate?
Right? Yeah.
It don't make sense.
And so, but that's bad information in the market, and I feel like that sometimes I think bad information keeps people on the sideline. I think it's purposeful bad information.
So they can sell the courses.
Be careful about where it comes from.
Yeah.
Because it tells you to stay on the sideline while they go, while other people go get the stuff.
I agree.
Yeah, and we don't have enough to know what's real and what's not. Because I'm like, when I'm buying a course or I want to be coached or mentoring, I want to know like everything. I don't want to know just the good stuff. And when people tell me like, I bought this, I made, 50,000, 100,000, I'm like, okay, good. I've had a couple of those, but what did you do when the market changed? What did you do when you had to adjust your model? What did you do when, if you can't tell me that part, I want to know, like, how did
In the
you
tough times.
in the tough times. So in that tough times, what would you say, what has been your biggest lesson about real estate in your 40 years? Been doing real estate since he was like in the playpen.
You know what? This is year 29 for real.
I know. I'm at 20 something. That's crazy.
It's crazy. The biggest thing is to be patient.
So that was your lesson. That's like a big lesson.
Be patient and get around the right people. Like get around the people that are positive, but also, they're real.
Yeah.
Like they can say, listen, it's time. This thing might be finna crash. This is what we
Right.
need to do.
Yeah.
And have a game plan. Not the doom and gloom people that say, oh my God, it's over. We got to move to Mars, or you need to move. And people always talking about, we're going to move out of the country.
Right.
Where are you going?
Well, people got to go to Canada before it caught on fire. I mean, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. You get good health care.
We're like, we're going to move into Canada.
Nah, I'm good. I don't want to go back to nowhere. I want to stay right here in Atlanta. I'm all right. This is literally, and I love this city.
You love Atlanta.
I love Atlanta.
Yeah.
But Atlanta may be one of the best head cities for African American men in the world.
What?
Name two more.
Really?
Name two more.
I mean, if you made that comment, 10 years ago, I wouldn't have believed you because you were not very traveled. Like you're like Atlanta, like you're a real Atlanta person.
I am.
But now you're over Detroit, you're over.
You're
think, moving around. So
but really think about that though.
Yeah.
And so this city, and not just for us. Think about all the business that comes through here. We got the airport.
Right.
As long as we got the airport, we're gonna be one of the top cities in the country.
Yeah.
It's hard, but the weather's great. The prices are still compared to other major cities.
I know.
You can still get a really nice house in Metro Atlanta for $500,000.
I know, but a lot of people can't afford $500,000. And now the $500,000, everything over $500,000, it's bidded. I mean, it's like you got like 1,000 buyers for a $500,000 property.
When it's inside the perimeter.
Yeah.
Outside the perimeter, they got some inventory.
Yeah.
They still got a little bit.
So and then okay, so your biggest lesson has been the patience.
Be patient.
And what's been your biggest regret?
My biggest regret is not understanding finances enough. So not understanding money.
Yeah.
I didn't. And we talked about it. We've talked about it. Just not understanding banking, money, how you raise capital. Because you think about, sometimes I'm driving, I'm like, God, I sold that for 100 and it's $1 million now.
Kick yourself.
Oh Lord. But then I look back and say, you know what? When I sold it, I needed the money to move forward.
At the time, that's all I knew to do.
That's all I knew to do.
That's
And that not understanding finances comes from not getting into the right circles and having the right people.
Yeah.
Like if we would have had Wall Street guys on our team 15 years ago, I would have never sold anything.
Yeah.
And we've owned quite a bit.
Do you feel like that's good, and I think that should be a lesson for a lot of people. But do you feel like this might be we might have to cut the cameras off depending on how this answer goes. I don't know. In some ways, I feel like the wholesalers have messed up the market.
Mm-mm.
Of course, you're gonna say no.
No, they only can sell what people buy.
But okay, so one little town that I'm working in now, I'll tell you later. But the reason I say that is because at first it was a sleepy little town. And then once the wholesalers came in, when we used to wholesale, and I don't think you got to be like OG wholesaling model, but it used to be like some ethics and some code. We used to, even though we didn't want to govern, it was just kind of like, it was wholesale.
Yeah.
You put your 10, 20,000, your percent on top, and you kept it moving. That's like what you did. But now what happens is we're at the same neighborhood where we could have bought for 50 and fix it up and, put 50 in it and sold it for, 130, 140 to keep it manageable. We're now having to buy it at 75, 100,000 because that's what so the wholesalers now are making more on the front end and not having to take the risk.
Let me tell you what the problem is.
The market value. That's where I say. Okay, all right. I like that.
So it's the other way around.
Okay.
The uneducated buyers are paying too much for them because what happens is we get, as a flipper, we want to make all the money. So now when we raise the ARV,
okay,
it raises the wholesale fee. And now you have such educated sellers.
Right.
Right. So now the sellers are saying, well, Miss Mary just sold her house for $250. So I want $150, and she's not thinking you still got to put $100 in the house. So now it's a different market. You got uneducated buyers.
Yes.
And educated sellers.
Okay.
And when that clashes, it's a different animal. So you got a different animal. So it's not the wholesalers. The wholesalers are just trying to make a fee.
Right. Well, I mean, and the fees are sometimes like, because it gets passed on, and it's like it's just like buying wood that has to get passed on somewhere.
Here's the thing.
So and you got to absorb.
If you had educated buyers,
right,
you and I wouldn't buy that stuff that they selling.
Yeah.
But somebody's buying it.
So we're not doing our job. Okay. Buy some more books.
I don't think it's us. It's other folks coming in with that cash that you're talking about.
Right.
And they're okay with a 2%, 5% return.
That's right. Yeah.
We're not. They're okay. They're okay with if they flip the property and they made $25,000, right? Because I had a guy that told me, he was like, listen, I keep $1 million in an account. If that $1 million make me $80,000 a year, 8% return, I'm okay.
Right.
So he can pay more.
Looking for the same, and when he does that part, then you can't even compete with it.
No.
Which is the same problem that we're seeing where a person is trying to buy a house in a bidding war with a hedge fund. It's a loser, but because their numbers.
There's a solution to that.
Oh, you got.
No, not on this.
Okay.
That's another lunch.
Okay.
I mean, we
need to have it.
But we have a solution. We have it. Been had it.
Oh,
you and I have talked about it.
Okay, it's time to roll it out. This is that time.
It goes back to being able to stack the right funding.
Right.
Right. And it's been done. Nobody wants to do it repeatedly because it's not the sexy large profits. But it can be done. And it's been done.
And it needs to be. I don't think we're ever at a crisis because I think probably what we have working for us that most people don't even think about is we're those people behind those doors. And we're the people who our sister, brother, cousin, friend can't buy a house. Yeah. Like we're like really impacted, but we see that more than anybody. Everybody else see a number and they see a profit margin, and we see people being disenfranchised.
That's almost homeless.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because with buying that, with overbidding and overpaying comes higher rents. Like everything gets made up on somebody's back.
Somebody's back got to carry it. But here's the other thing. I'll say this though. Everybody's first house doesn't have to be a $400,000 house.
And that's
the other side of it.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to start off with the house with the 3-car garage in the new subdivision. Sometimes you got to go to that 2-bedroom, 1-bath.
Right.
And let's tough it out till we save a little bit more money.
Right. Build some equity.
Take that one, turn it into a rental when we get the next one, right? But we don't want to have stepping stones because people talk about, tiny houses. They've been building tiny houses. It's not new. Yeah. They've been building shotguns, 600 square feet up here in Pittsburgh, right? Exactly. They've been had them. Yeah. They've been had small houses because those were the starter homes.
Yeah.
Nobody wants those. Yeah. Name 2 people that you know, like literally, that call you and say, listen, you know what? I can qualify for $350, but I really want $200.
Yeah.
I really take something we can share a bathroom for a year or two and make it cute in the inside. That's the problem. Now that's where there's another issue. That's something else.
That's our mindset adjustment that needs to happen. Correct. I had a lady that was just here in the studio a couple of days ago, and she was like, I want to learn more about real estate, and I think I should invest first. And
I think she should too.
I'm like, no, like you should buy that as an investment property mindset, like buy what you can buy.
Yes.
With the decent school, the whatever those parameters are that you would look for, buying it like this is my 1 year, 2 year start, and this is going to be my investment, and then I'm going to move on to something else, because otherwise you're sitting paying rents that are increasing, and you're on the sideline saying, I'm going to invest and wait to buy so I can buy my $400,000 or $500,000 house.
And that's what everybody wants. They want to start at 400 or 500. That's a whole nother.
Because that just, I'm like, no, you got to just buy what you can buy. And
I'm not the best real estate agent when it comes to that, because I don't even want, because people vision for what they want and what they should be getting, it's a big gap between it. It's a big gap.
And so that's an adjustment, and it was okay. It was okay maybe 5 years ago. Maybe, and it might have been okay if you bought the 500,000
in the pandemic
with that 2.3 3% interest rate. But
that's different now.
It's like you got to adjust the mindset for where the market is. And I tell people, like, okay, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, when those interest rates go back down, refinance. But at least you're in. Don't wait on them to go down, because they're going up. And people are like, I'm waiting on them to go back down. They're not gonna, and they don't realize that that was
who was smart 2 or 3 years ago, and people were saying there's some crazy programs, those rent-to-own programs.
Yeah.
That those people contracted those properties and had to get their credit, and it took 2 years, and they bought them at like $250, and when they got ready to buy them, they were worth $400, and so they bought them at they had instant equity.
Yeah.
Because they had a game plan. They were okay with buying it at the top of the market and waiting, and because it's gonna go up.
It's gonna go up. Yeah.
Even if it doesn't go up, where else are you gonna live? Even if right now you're living in a house and the value goes down for 3 or 4 years.
Right. I know.
And you got a mortgage.
Right. Yeah.
What difference does it make?
Yeah.
So, but that's a lot of, like you say, miseducation. There's a lot of pride. There's a lot of, we're comparing ourselves to other folks. There's a lot of other stuff that shouldn't be affecting where you live.
Yeah.
I love my little house over there. You know what I mean? I'm cool. Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, let me be,
Yeah, I like that though. Because I'm seeing it way too much, and I think us sitting on the sidelines waiting is not helping anybody, because we're seeing everything's going up, interest rate, prices, everything. And rents
going up.
Yeah. How do you feel about the ADUs?
I love them. Okay. But you just can't get them approved everywhere. So you can say, we want it, but 95% of the neighborhoods, you can't even get it done.
Really? So these are adjacent dwelling units that we're talking about. And these are perfect for income generation. You own a home, put it in the backyard, but
they're not approving them. You don't have the right zoning.
That's a mess.
And we need it. They need more duplex lots. They need more, triplex, quadruplex lots. Atlanta's not going to allow it.
All right, well, let's get you, you're an Atlanta native. Can you call Mayor Andre? We need some zoning. Mayor Andre Dickens. We don't help this situation. Because all of that works together.
It does.
And I think a lot of times we're trying to fix stuff in silos, and it's like a whole overhaul.
But everybody fighting the density, though. So you got the people that's there, like, I don't want a car next to me because they're going to make them rentals.
Yeah.
So then you got a whole nother problem in the neighborhood.
It just depends. I've been doing a lot of stuff in California, and what's been interesting there is they have this model now called In My Backyard, where they used to say not in my backyard, because they used to say homeless or rental around them brought their value down, so they always fought it. But now the homeless and everything's so out of control, they're saying now in my backyard, put an ADU, put whatever, because we got to get this. This is crazy. Yeah. They're spending billions of dollars on homeless and housing. So now they have a whole city in my backyard. Like, if that's going to help,
let's do it.
Yeah. And so they've had to really, the mayor there in LA has just been super aggressive about really fixing the problem. But either you're going to throw a bunch of money at it, or you're going to really overhaul some stuff. So.
And it's tough.
Yeah.
Do we have homeless in Atlanta?
Do we? Did you walk by any? It's
bad. It's bad. Some of that stuff, housing is not it because it's more mental. You know what I
But you
mean?
know what? The other thing that came up is the new face of homelessness is not what it used to be. Right now, it's like 50-year-old women, and there happen to be black women
That are homeless.
that are homeless. It's a new face because you have people now that were already on the verge with rent shifts and stuff like that. They're in cars. There's a whole car parking lot homeless thing that's happening right around
Do you
our.
remember this? 6 years ago, you said the average net worth of an African American woman at that time might have been like $5 or something crazy.
Yeah.
But we keep saying that the African American woman is the fastest to get into business, and it was something I just saw. But that was in 5 years, that net worth probably hasn't changed as much, and that's why that 50-year-old woman is in that car.
Yeah, it's bad, and you think about the rent increases. You do be listening to me.
I do.
And I do get my studies from information because it's always baffling to me. And when I come back, I'm like $5. For the longest I
You said you used to hold
held
that
up a $5 bill. Like for real. And so now when you see that has, and I didn't even think about that's the progression of that.
Yeah. There's nothing changed enough to make that a better stat. Because if everything over the past 5 years, everything has gone up.
Right.
Except their salaries, except the resources that they have. You can't get any better.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, and so and so it looks different. It's not all mental now. It's not all just the way we used to look at it. And now we're having to look at everything different because of.
To make you feel some kind of way.
It does.
So that means you got to do something about it.
I do. I mean.
You will. You will. Don't worry. We know you will. I mean, but the whole thing when we start talking about what is happening, my daughters are at home for the summer. Well, one just graduated. That's a different kind of pressure. Because I asked her, I said, how are you feeling? Are you nervous about being a kind of an adult? Because when she was getting ready when she graduated, she stayed in D.C. for a month.
Okay.
I said, listen, just come home. You have zero debt from college. You
Yeah.
have no car note, no cell phone, no insurance. We feed you. Just come home. You got houses, bedrooms. Get yourself together. Save as much as you can save. And over the next 3 or 4, unless somebody calls you with an amazing opportunity, do what you're going to do with your career, right? Travel, live without the pressure of life.
Yeah.
And then you walk away, and again, you got a car that's paid for, and it's not a brand new Benz, it's a good Honda Accord, and you got savings. You can move out to LA if you want to move it to LA, and if you got $100K, you put down 30% on something, a condo, and you always are on top of the game.
Yeah.
Most people don't want to wait. Most people don't want to wait that wait.
But you've gotten wise. You have what, 4 kids, 5?
Why are you holding your fingers up like, are you grown man from the fifth? It's 5 of them.
5, okay, like 4, 5 kids, me and my little one, But I mean that wisdom, because I read and I agree that we have to break a generational curse in the Black community of 18 years old.
Get out.
Get out. Yeah, 18-year-old, we're the plan, nobody just sitting around, laying around, but that's getting them good, like you say, come back, whether it's going to college or tech school, whatever, come on back in here and save up, might be a couple parameters around the house, but nothing, drastic, because I understand what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I want you to be better and get a better footing on this thing than I did or the past generation. And we got to set our kids up that way. And we got to do it as a mindset thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I applaud you.
We don't have a
That's
choice.
some good stuff.
I'm going to send over here with you.
Please do. Send it to the studio. Well, as always, it's been really great talking to you.
It has been.
I mean, I feel like, you're going to solve, what do you think? You didn't come to this book launch that I had, but I wrote the book, Living Legacy, it's Purpose, Passion, and Prosperity. And it was just to kind of just look at everything I've done. It was really eye-opening because you just keep moving on. And people don't like the word legacy. And so that's why I call it living legacy, because I feel like the legacy you're living every day is what your legacy. So what do you think your legacy is? And like what are people going to be like?
He was a great visionary
Great visionary.
that made it happen.
That made it happen. As always, it's so awesome catching up with my little big brother here, Ramon Tookes. Ramon, tell them how they can find you.
Listen, I'm Ramon Tookes on all social media platforms.
All right, until the next time, it's Sonia Booker. And as always, happy wealth building.